This is the Blockchain Show.
Hello, and it's Ian here from the Blockchain Show, and I am in person with Dragonchain. I've got Jonel and Lawrence here who are going to tell us more about Dragonchain, what it is, what they've done, and how to successfully launch an ICO. And the main purpose they're here is sponsoring a race car turning left quite a lot at Daytona at the Coca-Cola 400, which is actually this weekend. So without further ado, please introduce yourselves.
Oh, yeah. So we're at this kind of impromptu Dragonchain meetup that we're doing. And my name's Jonel Cordero. I'm the CMO at Dragonchain. And it's one of those things where I travel a lot. And, you know, one of our main philosophical missions or sayings is that all humans are welcome, right? So it's one of those things where if I'm ever at a city, I like to give these last-minute opportunities for community members, for anyone to come in and just, you know, have a chance to talk with me or ask questions or anything like that. We're very open with what we're doing, and we're not hiding or anything like that. If you have questions, come ask us, and we'd love to tell you and give you answers. So it's one of those things where this is what we're just hanging out here with Lawrence. He's a local community member that, you know, that actually bought in during the token sale, so that's awesome, you know.
My other presenter, Mark, actually bought in to Dragonchain, so he wants to know when it's going to hit $10 and he can retire, which I'm sure everybody's asking you.
I mean, that's the thing. It's when we don't really get into those price speculation type of things, right? But we're very much focused on the long-term aspect of what this is all about, and I think that was heavily indicative of the way that we approached our token sale was a market-based price. You know, we didn't throw out some arbitrary number of this is what we think it is. It's literally, hey, this is what the market thinks it is at this time, right? And it was also, that was very specific in just regards to a lot of kind of long-term strategies, from both doing our legal due diligences and to just the way that bringing in new technology, there is a sense of risk out there, and there's a sense of lack of information out there, right? And if you just kind of bombard them with a bunch of hype tactics, like a lot of it seems like contemporaries do, or a bunch of discounts from the get-go, they're not there for the technology. Yep. They're there for this financial incentive, and that's something that I'm trying really hard, and I hope that my contemporaries are really trying hard to educate people that, you know, blockchain, yes, or cryptocurrencies is blockchain, but blockchain is not cryptocurrencies.
Right? Absolutely. Blockchain is the platform which makes it possible.
Yeah, the technology is behind that's possible.
The shared infrastructure that supports it, and the shared responsibility.
Yes, yeah, and that's the excitement behind it. I mean, there's just so many applications that this can go to, where if people realize what this isn't just a new currency. This is an entire protocol of how to exchange value. You know, it's kind of like how the internet changed the world as a protocol of information. You don't just focus on the email or just this single aspect of this protocol. You have to realize just what we're dealing with. It's huge. We're gonna disrupt so many industries, not just financial.
Absolutely, and we did an interview with a ticket supplier, so that it's perfect. Makes perfect sense. If you can sell tickets using the blockchain, then you stop a lot of problem with the touts, and that was a very interesting thing.
Something that you guys want?
Yeah, Brandon actually created a ticketing app on Ethereum called Digitix.
Oh, fantastic!
Yes.
So everybody's thinking the same thing. I was discussing in a meeting last night, healthcare, that the whole blockchain idea will shake up the healthcare industry so that they do have unique identifiers for each patient and things like that, which they're struggling with at the moment.
Yeah, and that's again the cool thing with Dragonchain is that we don't see anyone in a competitive aspect. You know, it's just very much this big blue ocean strategy, right? Where I can talk with Lawrence and Brandon over here, where about this ticking app that they're putting on Ethereum. Awesome, I love Ethereum. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to uproot them. You know what? Let the market, this industry is so early on we're connecting with Ethereum. We're allowing you to utilize Ethereum's tools. So if you want to transition over to Dragonchain and build that as your base, then you could do transactions still on the Ethereum mainnet. You can still utilize their applications. You can still utilize their ERC20 token model, right? But the cool thing is that we work as this base where now you can take that same network and connect it with other blockchains, right? So now if you want to, we are working on our Neo Interchain, right? And we've just actually, it's our roadmap goal for next month, but we just kind of started doing some test nodes for that. So now literally what you can do is you can do a part of your business logic, right? You can sign some tickets over at Neo if you wanted to, depending on the day, or depending on whatever qualifiers, right? You can take an NEP5 token application, run it through Dragonchain, and then at some point flip it over to the Ethereum network if you wanted to. So it's this versatility where we're just trying to connect every blockchain kind of tool out there and make it available for enterprises.
So are you saying that then the end user isn't locked into using you?
Exactly. And it's one of those things too where we're kind of future-proof where, okay, if for some reason Ethereum goes down, I'm not saying they are, but if for some reason they are, wow, it won't take that long then just to switch all your transactions to another blockchain that we're already connected with.
Yeah, and that's like cloud computing. I've been working with cloud computing, and everybody said to me, what question do I ask my new supplier? And the first question you should ask them with cloud computing is, how do I get off the platform?
Yes.
Because once you're locked in, if you can't get out or it's going to cost you too much money to get out, then your whole ROI study goes down the pan. Yeah. But anyway, enough of that. So you talk about competition. It seems like everybody's coming out with a platform, and I was looking on Twitter last night. There's loads of platforms. What differentiates your platform?
Like I said, we don't really. Our whole focus from the get-go from Dragonchain is that it's focused on. So enterprises have the opportunity to build their blockchain with really no limitations if possible, right? And connect them with all sorts of resources to them. The everyday developer, that's the whole idea with the academy, with the marketplace, with the incubator, right? That they have access to all these tools, meaning they could build on Ethereum, they can build utilizing the Ethereum mainnet, the Neo mainnet, the whole goal is to interchain them all, to connect them all.
So there are other interchain protocols that I'm aware of. Yeah. So Aeon and Wanchain are two of them. So how do you differentiate from them, or are you totally dissimilar?
Unfortunately, again, because I'm the marketing guy, so I'm the CMO, so I'm the marketing guy, so I haven't really looked specifically.
Oh, you can't say that. If you're the marketing guy, you should know all this stuff.
But our whole thing is just literally, we're based on RESTful API. Yep. So it's just this whole thing where we're trying to make it as simple as possible for them to connect to anything. So theoretically speaking, if you have an application that you're working on Wanchain, we could, you can now put that as part of your business logic through Dragonchain. Ours is just, we're a base, we're infrastructure, we're Windows, for the, hopefully there's no averseness to that name for people, but the whole thing is, here's blockchain, let's make it as easy as possible for anyone to onboard, to come on, right? And just, that's the whole idea of it, and that your business is protected, your business data is connected. That's another one of the big things, beyond that flexibility, but that from that inherent get-go, that your business data is protected, that some public blockchains are having some issues with.
Could I ask another question?
Absolutely.
So you talked about data, and I know that Ethereum uses IPFS for a lot of their data storage. So does Dragonchain more securely store their data in a different way? So
the way that the architecture of Dragonchain from the get-go is that we keep it separated. We keep the basically, and again, I'm trying to. Since you're throwing some technical terms at me, and of course I'm familiar with them, but at the same time I don't want to go super in depth and then show my lack of knowledge specifically on that. But how Dragonchain basically does it is that from the get-go, it sort of wraps or puts the data in this payload. So what it is inherently doing is it's hashing the transaction, kind of the package per se, and not the data itself. So it's not putting the actual data on the public blockchain, but what it's doing is that it's doing an abstraction of truth, right? And then as you can see that, yes, this transaction, transaction A, right, which is now only the enterprises or whoever you want to expose to can see the specific data inside, but publicly the hash of the transaction itself is what's hashed. And then we give you a kind of a subset of data where, okay, it takes, and Joe's the one that says it the best, so I'm trying to paraphrase a genius, right? So, bear with me, but it's along the lines of like, now with this specific hash, you can see, how much exactly would it take for someone to make that a fraudulent transaction, right? Mm-hmm. All the way from the electricity used to, just theoretically speaking, how much money it would take in order to uproot a node or to fraudulent XXX paths, right? So it's one of those things where with our abstraction of truth and our levels of trust, where it goes all the way to level 5, right? If you have a transaction or a set of transactions that you want to prove to a very high degree, right? We won't say it's 100, this isn't a pure public, we're a hybrid aspect. We're trying our best to basically marry the best of both worlds, and I think we've done it the best, right? Because literally now you can actually hash this not just on, scaling up 2 to 4, just like maybe a local network to maybe some notable carriers, like let's say if for some reason Sprint or Perkins Coie wanted to assign, right? Depending on what you're trying to do, they can sign as a level 4, but all the way to level 5 to other public blockchains like Ethereum, like Neo, like ETC, or like NEM, right? You can hash that transaction on all those 3 blockchains, and to say that all of them are wrong is rather difficult, right? And at the same time, because the data is kind of kept separate, there's also that protection of that secure holding of your business assets, and that was one of the things that Joe wanted to focus on specifically, because these enterprises, yes, public blockchain is awesome, right? But there's no way you're going to put all this private data onto the public blockchain, because there's cryptography, but within 20 years it's going to get broke. You can't just throw it out there. They have investors that they have to protect, right? Yep. But at the same time, if you just do a private chain, then now you're forgoing all this hash power. You're forgoing that decentralized aspect of it. So it's one of those things where we really feel Dragonchain has the best of both worlds for that, and we feel that enterprises are when they come up to us with questions, that we have almost a solution for all their issues, and that's something that we really pride ourselves. I mean, that was the focus, to be an enterprise solution. Yeah.
So without going into the security aspect, I spoke to a security company who was basically saying that the blockchain is based on one thing, and that is you can't crack the blockchain. But with quantum technology, you will be eventually, and that's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing, though, is literally the way Dragonchain itself, it's software, I mean, you'll have your aspect of mainnet when you connect to level 2. I mean, each level 2, level 3, they're all technically blockchains, right? Yep. And because it's software application, in the future, if there's a quantum solution out there, you could plug it into to the Dragonchain interface and have that. Depending on, I don't know exactly how it's going to look, but there is that aspect of that you can literally create business logic and connect all sorts of things because like RESTful API, etc. So you can do NEM Neo through a quantum blockchain solution, through QuickBooks. Let's just throw out some random book, and hopefully people don't think I'm trying to plug something there. But just literally you can have it go through.
Everybody uses QuickBooks. Yeah. There's got less than 20 people in their organization. I think we're fine with that.
But it's just that flexibility. Yeah. It's software. You can do anything with it.
So, okay. This is interesting. What makes your ICO successful? What was the strategy, as in marketing strategy, getting the investment? I know you said that it's a no-brainer when you look at the business case, but what made it successful?
I mean, for us specifically, and again, everyone might have different varying levels of success. Everyone might have a different word or a different kind of perception of what that means. Because for us specifically, we raised 12.5 million, equivalent in USD for Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? If you're looking at our kind of the alumni class of 2017 of token sales at that time, we really didn't raise that much. Salt, I believe, kind of goes around the 11th or 10th highest according to some article, I think Business Insider, about 47 mil. And then you got Tezos around 200 mil, which is the higher one, right? So all of those guys, they raised way more than us, right? But that was...
Yeah, I was actually nervous about that because I did the ICO and I was like, uh-oh, did I just get scammed?
Yeah, and that's what Brandon here was here. He's on kind of a phone call joining us with here, and he was just talking about how that was a worry for people. And that's one of the interesting aspects, because we literally had people come into our Telegram and they go, wait, how do we make money? Because the way that we structured it, our token sale, was that it was market based, right? That it is we're not setting some random arbitrary number and just think this is what it is. This is literally what the market thinks it is, and that was very strategic because of the way that we're approaching our token model. It's a tokenized micro license. It is a software license, right? Yep. We're pre-selling software license, right? And I come in, so I joined in right before the token sale happened, like a day before. I come in and I go, oh, like this is going to be easy, I'm looking at all these other token sales.
Well, there's cakes and streamers and balloons.
What's going on? Exactly.
I didn't know you cared, guys.
I mean, if you look at the story, I mean, we have the team. Joe. He's not your 25-year-old blockchain CEO. Sorry, Joe, I'm gonna reveal you. He's 50. He looks a good 50, but he's 50, right? But he's been in the industry. He's worked for the FBI. He's worked for the Department of Defense. He worked at Coinbase. He worked for Garzik. He worked at Disney. That's the whole story, right? He built the blockchain system for Disney, right? He actually had a job offer for a major Fortune 25, I want to say, company as their VP of blockchain before he actually decided to go to Block, right?
Yep.
And then from Block, he went. He created Dragonchain, right? So this is a guy that has experience, right? And a lot of other team members had actual, experience in terms of building a tech product, bringing a tech product to market, right? You have this whole story that this is technology that came out of Disney, and now, and this is something we clarify or make clear. We're not part of Disney at all now, okay? Sorry. I mean, and Joe, we've said this many, many times and make it many, many clear. I'm going to say it again. We are not part of Disney at all. The thing is, when you go out, there comes a time when you're a big company and you make a technology, right? And you either patent the technology or you open source it, right? That's just what it is. It's risk, liability, etc. They decided to open source it, and now, so Joe goes, okay, well then I'm going to make my own company based on this technology, right?
So Disney are using the blockchain.
So it's open source there, it's open source as a project. And there, before when Joe was working there, there was interest in building blockchain products. Now, I can't comment. I'm not part of their company. I don't know what they want to do with blockchain, right? But there was interest before, and so I can't comment on what there is.
It's okay. We've got my other presenter, Mark, is coming over here in August, and we're going to do Round the World with Blockchain at Epcot. So we'll be discussing that while having a few beers. So that should be an interesting podcast. If you are listening, that's something we've got coming up for you.
So I kind of went on a tangent.
My second question was about GitHub. Is your code on GitHub? Is it open source? We had the open source side of Dragonchain that we're managing through the foundation, but a lot of the commercial advancements we actually have not public. They're all private. They're all private kind of repos right now. But it's one of those things where we're starting to work with a pretty large company, and they'll, we'll prove the architectural review in terms of that, so that'll be public. So this isn't vaporware or anything like that. There are ways to build on Dragonchain right now. We have companies with building on Dragonchain right now, so it's not a public GitHub, so unfortunately, but private. ERP. So a lot of these big companies like Disney have like SAP or Oracle.
Yeah.
Do you see Dragonchain having an interchange with their data, or is a company kind of let go of those old legacy systems?
No, that's the cool thing with Dragonchain. It makes it really easy for old softwares to connect to. It's because it's just an API, right? Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where we could, depending on what the company wants to do, we can facilitate that, whether it's a legacy system or they want to build up a brand new system.
Well, do you see SAP or Oracle coming to you?
Or
Salesforce or something?
I can see that. Yes, I can see that. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember what I can and can't talk about that. But it's one of those things where our goal, again, is just very much whatever system that you want to either tokenize or build on a blockchain, we make it as simple as possible. We make it as flexible as possible. We make it as secure as possible. So it's one of those things is from the get-go, we wanted to tell that story of that this is what we're focusing on. And basically, if an enterprise comes in, we want to be able to say, address all their problems, right, with an answer. And we had a larger enterprise come up to us recently, and that was one of the things that we literally, they're having issues right now with Hyperledger, with Ethereum, right? And they realized they need an enterprise solution. So every issue that they were kind of coming up against, they would ask, how would you solve, the scalability aspect? How would, there's just all these various costs and risks that are in their mind, right? And Dragonchain is very well positioned to basically solve all of them for them. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So the more interesting side of this, how come you're sponsoring a NASCAR? What happened? Is that just because Joe's into NASCAR, or is this let's put the marketing budget into something American?
So for me, again, it's the telling of the story from the beginning, and I kind of didn't fully answer the whole, how I saw the token sale as successful or not. Let
you answer that first.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So for me, if the target market that we're focusing on is this director of innovation, these large companies, they're risking millions, billions of dollars to possibly uproot this infrastructure, right? This isn't some Barbie doll or like B2C product that we're just trying to throw a Google ad and selling or whatever, right? This is a system that has a lifetime that's going to go hundreds and hundreds of years, and it's going to cost them a lot to transition to. There is a lot of risk to do that, right? And one of those things, again, is we wanted to tell from the get-go a story of professionalism, a story of, this is what the technology is about. It's a market-based price from the token sale. Take it as it is type of deal, right? We wanted to make sure that every roadmap goal or tech promise that we could do, that we deliver it, and we have delivered it. The only kind of roadmap, and that's the reason why we transitioned a little bit from roadmap goals that we can't really control, but the ones that we can control, we deliver. We have that professionalism, right? And again, this whole kind of no hype kind of focused, right? If you announce a bunch of partnerships and then they all end up being fake, if all these unsavory tactics where you raised a bunch of money, why would a company like a Fortune 10 company that needs to protect investors and answers investors join, work with a company that doesn't protect their token holders or whatever, right? It doesn't make sense. So it's one of those things is from the get-go, we wanted to tell this story that had no holes in it. So if you wanted to build on Dragonchain, yes, they're professional, they deliver, and they're gonna do right with the government from the get-go. They're gonna do right to the people from the get-go, and there's no blame. I can't just run some campaign and then rebrand. We're not going to do that, So now this whole NASCAR thing, how it kind of evolved is we've been doing a lot of research and a lot of conversations with enterprises and always trying to figure out how to improve the product and worries that they're having and just conversations, right? And one of the big differentiators that we have is that we're made in America. We are a U.S. company. We're proud of it. We're not based in the U.S. and then we're actually in China or something or some kind of tax haven. No, We're an American company. And that's something that I believe kind of speaks volumes, and it also tells a story again, right? So this is the whole story of very much supplanting in people's minds that we're a proud American company. We want to build jobs here. We want to bring a level of quality here, and that, hey, if you're a company and you have worries about it, we're right in your backyard, and we're going to be fighting right next to you. That's why we're an executive member of the Digital Chamber of Commerce. Like we have a presence here, and we're not going anywhere, type of deal. So I think now when you're going to NASCAR, that's just Americana, right? Right of its roots,
it's
right?
Pickup trucks, Budweiser.
That's America, right? So what better story than and that's such the cool thing. I mean, I know there's a handful of people that don't like the JoJo Dragon, but when you see it on that number 72, on a Camaro, kind of that old American muscle, and then you see the new blockchain American muscle kind of right on it, man, it gives this association, it tells a story, it puts in people's minds like that this is a legitimate brand, and this isn't, and I know Dogecoin, Dogecoin cracks me up, and I've been in crypto since 2013, so, but, they did it for one race, but we're not just doing it for one race. This is an ongoing thing. We're doing it for 3 races, a full, Dragonchain 72 is for 3 races, and we're going to be on 72 for the whole season, and we're going to have billboards, at every race, this is again, if people notice the way that I market, I don't do just a one-time PR blitz. This is brand positioning. This is an American company, and we're here to stay.
So what other races are you doing?
So we're also doing Las Vegas and Kansas City.
Wow, you're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes.
Las Vegas, we just got to leave and they'll be fine. And as long as you get out of Las Vegas to make it to Kansas. It's interesting because Mark's seen in the UK, the company called HTAC have been advertising during the World Cup, and all they've been saying is blockchain. It's for your security at home. It's for that. It's for that. And everybody's like, "What is blockchain?"
Yes.
Because if you ask the standard person on the street 6 months ago, they'd say, "Oh, that's something to do with the dark web, drugs, and guns."
Yes.
And I know I say that on every podcast, but anyway, now you ask the person on the street, and they go, "How do I invest in this? How do I make money?" And it's like, "Well, no, you don't understand."
Yeah.
And so the amount of money they put into advertising this, just to say, "Hey, if you blockchain, we're the company."
Yeah.
It's amazing. Have you got any future plans around mass media marketing apart from the 72 car?
We'll do it as it makes sense, right? And that's, again, one of those things, that you were just talking about, this perception of what it is. As long as we start normalizing and using these ideas day to day and showing that that's not what it's all about, it will seep into society as something normal, right? It's one of those things where Amazon first came out, they go, why would you ever buy a book from a website when you can just go to the bookstore, right? Now it's kind of like the flip, right? So it's one of those things where as a technology gets more and more exposure, it'll be more normalized. And so this is one of our kind of our entry points where we're trying to normalize more and more what blockchain is, right? And again, that's the awesome thing with Dragonchain is we're telling the story from the beginning of doing right. Joe likes to say we've been the monk at the frat party. And you can. I can show you again. I can show you my car, my CTO's car. I have my cheap 2010 Hyundai Civic, Hyundai Accent. Paul Saunier drives this 1990 Corolla, it's wearing down. We're not driving Lambos. We're
not yet, but when you hit $10,
I mean, so again, for us, it's not. It's a very long-term strategy, right? And as you go kind of through the tech lifespan, right, I still strongly believe we're in the innovation and early adoption phase. But as we get into the early majority phase, then yes, we can see more of those type of things, right, going on. It's one of the things also where there's a recent Gartner report where 1% of the companies in the study that they did were actively using blockchain already, right? So that was amazing. And then there's 8% that are actively now trying to explore, do exploratory projects. So it's one of those things. Again, it's the way that we approach things is very methodical now, where we're trying to if there's these companies that are trying to explore these possibilities, we want to get at their doorstep, and we want them to see what our company, right? And what better way to do it with NASCAR? And again, what better way to supplant? Okay, this is an American company. This is a brand that is right alongside some major brands, and then if they actually research us, again, it's this story from the beginning of the token sale that we are trying to do things right a professional manner and an enterprise manner. This isn't just some normal startup. This is an executive team with years of experience, that have been in technology from the beginning, that's worked with the major companies. So we know how to do this. We know how to bring a technology to the market.
And any ideas about sponsoring cars that can turn right as well as left? Perhaps in a field in France next June or something.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I'm very open. I'm very open to anything and everything, and that's the exciting thing with this technology. I mean, this is a brand new technology. This is a brand new industry. There's no kind of guidebook on how to approach this, and I'm very open-minded to that. And again, and it's one of those things where I think that's really telling, such as our Telegram chats. Joe and I are there quite often, and we quite often talk to community members. We make ourselves available to people if they want to talk to us. And this meetup that now kind of pseudo evolved into this talk, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I'm just, hey, I'm in town. If you're a community member, you can see the CMO, right? And we'll have a candid conversation, and I will let you know whatever I can let you know type of deal as much as possible. The only things I don't talk about is because there's some legality, right? But anything else, we are completely open, right?
So where can our listeners find you in an upcoming month?
Oh, yeah.
Give us a few cities.
So I think we're going to be, because I just basically been traveling a lot this month. But for the next month, it might be a little bit more quiet down as we lead into September, because we're actually running our own convention, Blockchain Seattle, right? We are the presenting. It's Seattle's convention, right? We're the presenting sponsor, but we're trying to do it as very much it's Seattle's convention. That's September 10th through the 11th at the Bellevue Hyatt, and the whole idea behind that is that we want to present this technology to the companies there, right? Because there's some major tech players there, right? And we want to do it in an equalized fashion where we're giving all the local blockchains, their companies, and also we're inviting a lot of other people to come in to have an equal opportunity to present this technology to the masses, right? And again, for us, it's big blue ocean, right? We don't see as anyone competitors. If you tell us, oh my gosh, we love NEM, like, what are you going to do? I'm like, awesome. I think I'll love NEM too. We'll just connect with them, we'll make that available for our customers. So again, for us, it's just, this technology is awesome. We're excited about this technology. We want to push this technology, and we strongly believe that if the technology wins in general, then Dragonchain will win.
Absolutely. So how do our listeners find out more? Do they go to dragonchain.com?
Yeah, so dragonchain.com is our main website. We also have our Twitter that we're pretty active on. That's Dragonchain Gang. We also have our Telegram. Again, you could join there. I think it's Dragon Talk. You could find for sure the exact URL on the Dragonchain website. And again, Joe and I pop in there pretty frequently, as well as the other executives. So it's one of those things where if you tag us or see us, you can have a conversation with us. It's not that hard if you really. I mean, I feel bad because sometimes it is hard to get to me with a lot, and I try my best to respond to emails. I used to be a zero email guy, but just since joining this crazy industry, it's tough. But at the same time, I try very hard to make myself available to anyone that wants to talk blockchain, because this technology is cool.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, of course.
This makes a lot of sense. So whereabouts are you based?
So we're in the Seattle area. Yeah. So We're on the West Coast, and the idea behind that is just this whole combination of there's resources there, there's people there. We get there.
Yes.
Amazon's there, Microsoft's there, right? We can make connections there, and we can be able to hire without any worries, type of deal. So, yep, we're in the Seattle area, and it works out for me because I'm Seattle born and raised. So.
Even better.
Exactly.
That's great. And as you can tell, I'm born and raised in Orlando.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Absolutely not. But,
and it's one of those things. I mean, we have so much work and interest in doing that so many people, so people don't realize. Just follow our LinkedIn, and you'll notice that we keep hiring and hiring, right? We're at the point where we're actually looking at maybe building a second office in either Raleigh or Kansas City and get a group of developers, because we have that much work and interest, and it's one of those things where, we're building, and
Yeah.
we're focused on building this product. And I mean, you'll see us drive, right? And that's kind of a cool another illusion or kind of association that you can make. Or everyone, there's all these car salesmen, and maybe no one knows what a car is yet, but hey, now you can see what our car is.
Exactly, and you heard their marketing strapline here first on the Blockchain Show. Woohoo! So what does the weekend hold for you? You're in Orlando at the moment. It's a 45-minute drive to Daytona. You're going to be enjoying the pit girls and a few beers tonight.
Not quite. Always working where I can. This is kind of a 24/7 job, but it'll be nice because we'll be in the Coke 0400 all day tomorrow. We'll be hanging out with Corey LaJoy and his team. He'll be wearing a Dragonchain shirt, and so cheer on 72. Cheer on 72.
Fabulous. So if you are listening and you have watched the Coca-Cola 400, then you would have seen number 72 and gone, that looks like a blockchain company. You're right. And if you're listening to this before the race, which is quite unlikely, but you never know, then support car number 72. It's bringing blockchain to the masses. And there'll be lots of people watching the race from the back of their pickups, drinking lots of Budweiser, thinking, that looks like a dragon, or something similar to that. Thank you very much for downloading, and have a look at some of the videos we're going to be posting online as well. Excellent. Thank you very much for your time, both.
For sure.
Thank you.
Are you looking for an easy way to buy Bitcoin or Ether on a safe, secure platform? Coinbase is the easiest place to buy and sell digital currencies. Sign up today as a friend of the Blockchain Show, and if you buy or sell $100 of Bitcoin or more, you'll earn $10 of free Bitcoin for yourself and $10 of Bitcoin to support this show. Join now using the link in this episode's show notes at theblockchainshow.com. To learn more, visit theblockchainshow.com.